Hey, so today I wanted to talk a bit about customer experience. And as you can see, I'm at home, hoping that no one makes insane sounds. I've been trying to record this for ages. So we're going to give it a shot. Bear with me if you hear anything random. I can't do any more re-recording. So, customer experience. The Cambridge Dictionary defines customer experience as the way someone feels at all stages of doing business with a company or an organisation. And I'd like to break that definition into two parts to help us understand it a bit better. So the first part is the way someone feels. And that is giving us two things. The first is that it's not just what you do, it's how you do it. It's how it feels. It's the emotion. It's the way. So we could carry out a repair and it's done and the thing's repaired. However, if the person has had to wait half an hour to get through to the contact centre and maybe had a number of different operatives coming in and out of the property and had to take 2 days off work, then it's done, but it hasn't been a great experience. The other part of that is it's someone and it's feeling. So a feeling is something that depends on who you are, how you feel about something. And so for us then it's about knowing who our customers are and how they want to engage with the service. And then being able to do and create our systems and our processes in such a way that making sure the customer's happy, who they are and what they want is at the forefront. The second part is at all stages of doing business with a company or organisation. And this is where customer experience differentiates itself from customer service. The customer service ethos is around a point in time. What is the person like on the phone? What is the operative like when they come to your home? It's what we call touch points, individual moments in time. Customer experience, however, talks about the end-to-end process. And this is something that we need to fully understand. What does a customer need to do and what are the interactions they have before they can get their repair done and after? And so these include things like the contact centre, the website, what do we say when we text them about their appointments. There's many different touch points within the journey that create the whole customer experience. So what does it look like? The first is for us to meet needs whilst managing expectations. And that's so important in our line of work. There are many times where a resident wants something that we're just not going to do. Maybe it's not within our responsibility. Maybe we don't have the budget. So we've got to be clear about what we can do and what we're not going to do. Following on from that, it's to do what you say you'll do every time. And that is something that we can all do. We can all call someone back. We can all follow up with the things that we say we're going to do. Make sure that if a follow-up is required, we keep on top of it, and so on and so forth. Again, leading on from that is keeping people informed. Confusion is the birthplace of anxiety. That's a quote. Is it right? Is a quote. Confusion is the birthplace of anxiety. And we know as people and customers ourselves that if we don't know what's going on, it creates a level of concern. And with our customers, sometimes they can be going months without hearing anything about what's going on. As far as they're concerned, things are in the pipeline, but they may not be. And so really not only making sure that we're following things through, because one of our greatest complaints with our service is failure to progress works. Someone comes, they follow on materials are required or another tradesman, and then nothing, it disappears. So keeping people informed and up to date on what's going on, very key. And then personal accountability. And for me, this is so key. If every individual person at whatever level that they work at, whatever it is they're responsible for, makes the customer experience the focus of what they do and why they do the things they do, then that will change so much. When we're focused on this is my job and that's not my job, and I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do that, so the customer has to go, from pillar to post. Whether or not you can actually help them is something that, as we go into this new phase, we have to really think to ourselves, am I doing my bit as best as possible? And sometimes you may not be able to do anything in that moment, but it's you can raise the query, or raise your concerns, or let people know that this is coming up. This has happened to me a few times. Customers are finding XYZ. I think if we did this, if we put this on our website, or if we told the contact center to tell people that, and so on and so forth. But it's about individuals saying, what can I do? How can I add value to this situation? So now we've got an understanding of what customer experience is. Why is it important for us in the public sector? We've always had an ethos of putting our customers first. We know we serve the most vulnerable in our community, and also our customers don't have choice, really. There's things that we will do and we're responsible for, and there are a few things that they can do. So they're very dependent and reliant on us. So because we don't have that competition, we're not trying to increase market share or increase profits. What is the motivation for us to really, really seriously have a good customer experience? And there's a few things that I thought of. The first is that these days the customer voice is so much louder. With social media, it's like having a giant megaphone to the world. When I first started in housing, if someone was really unhappy, they might go to their local newspaper, and that stretched national newspaper, and then you had time to respond. These days, someone can have an experience and tweet it to the whole world, and the organization's reputation can be damaged and ruined in moments. So it's so much more important for us to be mindful of how we're treating our customers, even if it's not necessarily hitting the profits. The second thing is that customer expectations have changed. We are living in a post-COVID world where social distancing is an issue. So much more services are being provided online, and the way that we do things, embracing technology, embracing new systems, not just from an organizational perspective, because as we've discussed, we are implementing and putting into place new systems and so on and so forth. But for those of us actually working, are we keeping up to speed? Are we aware of technology and how to use it, and how to use it to give a good service to our customers? And that's something that we've all got to look at ourselves with. And this is where I think personal accountability becomes very important. So the last reason that I think we ought to take this a lot more seriously is, whilst we're not a profit-making organisation, unhappy customers do take up a disproportionate amount of time, and it's costly. It's costly to have legal battles, disrepair cases. It's costly to be answering ombudsman complaints and stage 2 complaints and dealing with counsellors. And there's an inordinate amount of work that goes to remedying something that's gone wrong. So if we can focus on getting it right first time as much as possible, or to having things in place to resolve issues, then we're going to save ourselves a lot of time and a lot of effort. And this is just an aside, and this is something that I actually feel really strongly about. In the public sector, and especially the kind of work that we do, we play such an important, pivotal part on people's everyday lives. The Amazons and the Apples and the Spotifys, one of my favourite companies in this world, do great, but they're luxury services. And we've seen with this pandemic that when the chips are down, there are a few core people that keep this country afloat, and we are one of them. And so for us, as we serve our own community, many of us live and work in the borough, myself included, as we serve the people in our community who we may ourselves be tenants, or maybe family, or neighbours or friends or whatnot, it's so important for us to do a great job and to take pride in the work that we do. We don't have to work for a shiny company to feel pride and a sense of value and importance in what we do. And we ought to strive for excellence. We ought to strive for excellence because it's for the common man. It's because it's the right thing to do. And it's because as we spend a vast amount of our time at work, I, for one, want to work at a place that is known for being excellent. I want to feel pride in telling people what I do and who I work for. And that comes by the reputation of the organisation. Which is down to what we do. It's those individual moments. It's easy to look at things like this as huge and, how could we ever be like Apple? Not that there's anyone's all the Android fans are like, huh? Tired of Apple. Well, how could we ever have the excellence that those organisations have? But I think it's about small and steady wins the race. And I've been watching a cycling coach, the coach who did the 2012 cycling Olympics, and they won loads of Tour de France's and so on and so forth. And he talked about something called marginal gains. And the notion is that you don't have to aim for the top. If you just improve and make tiny incremental improvements on the things that you can, over time that builds up into having a massive impact. And he applied that with the cycling team, and they went on to absolutely dominate the cycling sport. And so for us, if we are just making tiny tweaks, little tiny things that we do, if everyone is saying to themselves, how can I make this slightly better for the customer? You may not have the tools, the authority to make big changes, but you can definitely make improvements on what you're doing. And over time, that builds up until you have a transformed service. So I think we ought to be striving to make this an excellent organisation, a place where we can feel proud, a place that has a good reputation, and we can really change the narrative around councils and being inefficient and expecting poor service. We can really change that narrative and be a centre of excellence. And to me, that's a great way to spend my 9 to 5 or however long I'm at work. That makes it all worthwhile. The work we're doing is worthwhile, and we know that because we're still doing it, and we have been doing it in the middle of the pandemic. Let's take it to the next level.